should the Knicks use the same starting lineup they used in Game 3, their first win of the series, starting Mitchell Robinson over Josh Hart? So entering Game 3, the Knicks' usual starting lineup, Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, Hart, and Towns, had been outscored by 50 points this postseason, which was the worst for any five-man lineup in the 2025 playoffs. All right, Marcus, should the Knicks go with that same starting lineup at Game 3?
Initially, I'm going to say no because I feel like it hampers Towns from being offensively aggressive and getting it in different spots, right? If he get the switch, he can't get down low because he's going to have Miles Turner guarding Mitch Robinson will help on a double team or just be the body there, right? But it's twofold. If Tibbs went back and they had a walkthrough or a practice and they showed Towns different spots that he could be effective in while big Mitch Robinson is in the game, then I can almost think about it, but I just feel like he clogs the lane up. I feel like Mitch Robinson brings a ton of energy off the bench, the same thing that that he's been doing throughout the playoffs. So for me, I feel like it's more important to getting Towns going early than starting Mitchell Robinson.
Keith?
I gotta agree with you on that one because I just think, and I don't think more so it comes to the Towns thing. I just think Mitch Robinson is more of an impact when you don't start him and you bring him off the bench, right? He played the entire first quarter, and quite frankly, it gassed him out for the rest of the game. And I think that's the key because they couldn't stop anybody until the fourth quarter until Towns started going off. So me, I'm gonna take a different approach. I think Mitchell Robinson purposes, I think he's more impactful when you bring him off the bench and play him in spurts instead of playing him the entire first quarter.
Perk?
Here's the deal, y'all.
RSA?
Mitchell Robinson, I got a stat in front of me right now where it talks about how Mitchell Robinson by quarter in the conference finals in the first quarter is 22 minutes, 10 points, 10 rebounds. He's been a force. Over the last three quarters in this series, that's totaled 57 minutes. He's had 4 points in a total of 57 minutes from quarters 2 through 4, a total of 4 points and 13 rebounds. So essentially, it's giving the impression that at least statistically, he somewhat disappears after the first quarter. He comes out like a gangbuster, ready to handle his business, and then he fades. I still think his presence is important. I think he's formidable because of his size in the post, what have you. I just don't know how much you can trust or rely upon him, in terms of being able to do what's necessary in order to help this team become victorious. I like him out there, me personally, and I don't really have much of a problem with him in the starting lineup trying something new because that, as long as that doesn't compromise the minutes of a Josh Hart and others, I'm good with it.
I think he got to stay with it. Matter of fact, he should stay with it. Here's why. Because he's not going to take Karl-Anthony Towns or Jalen Brunson out of the starting lineup, and here's why I say that. Both of those guys are defensive liabilities. So what Tibbs is trying to do, he's trying to find a way to cover up for what they lack defensively. Because to be honest, Mikal Bridges, you just pointed out the stats before we went to break. He hasn't been that guy that they want him to be for us being a stopper on the wing. OG Anunoby has been inconsistent, so you need to try to find something. And I think what Tibbs is looking at from an offensive standpoint, he said, hey, if Towns and Rudy Gobert had success playing alongside one another, then why can't Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns have success offensively as well? Even if it's for a small stint. This is what I will say. I would only start him for the first half, now that you just brought that up. Coming into the second half, I might have to look into starting a Landry Shamet or Wright. You know why? Because those guys are picking up 94 feet. That was the difference in the game, right? They're doing what Neesmith was doing to Brunson. Now they're doing that to Tyrese Haliburton, and all of a sudden the pace has slowed down. We heard Haliburton talk about the pace of the pace. Well, you could push the pace.
Hold on. Let me take it a step further since you did bring up receipts, because it's very, very important receipts. Those brothers right there in studio with Molly, Haliburton, superstar. Remember when they were saying that yesterday? So in other words, picking him, having him picked up 90. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Haliburton being a superstar, right? I'm like, yo, he's a damn good player. He's not overrated. The brother can ball again, but he ain't a superstar.
Yeah. Stephen A., we didn't tell the whole story.
94 feet.
Superstar,
It could be important.
Stephen A., we didn't give the full context. We didn't tell the whole story.
A little bit out of there right
It
there.
wasn't just superstar. It was young superstar. So we weren't putting him with
That's
like
fair.
the LeBrons
Fair,
and the
fair.
Stephs
Young-
and the
my bad.
KDs.
Young
We were
superstar.
just talking about
Young
the
superstar.
young guns.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Right.
Molly, I want to ask the twins something.
Sure.
I want to ask the twins something because I already asked you this, and I was guilty of this. I think we're throwing around the word superstar too loosely.
Yes, I do.
Like we're anointing guys as being superstars that are really not superstars, right? Like, yes, we know Bron and Steph, they're mega stars. It's the difference, right? And then we can start looking at everybody else. Anthony Edwards, right? Own signature shoe commercials, putting up big numbers, winning games. I think when we start to think about guys that are superstars, we have to start really thinking about that before we just anoint them as quote-unquote being a superstar. And I'm saying that for myself as well. But I don't believe Tyrese Haliburton is a superstar.
Got him up. Go ahead, older brother. Hey, I think that obviously you have your older players, your superstar, but it's just the era that we in. Like, who is a superstar? Who is a young superstar? Who can you anoint that? These are the players that we have in the league that we have to all-star superstar. I mean, obviously they're not on the level of LeBron and the Lucas and those guys, but they fall right under when you talk about young superstars, the young Ant-Mans, the SGAs. Those are the young superstars that's up and coming league, and I think Haliburton falls in that category.
We got to define what the superstar is. That's the biggest thing.
We're just so used to saying superstar is athletic, and a bigger market. Like what Haliburton is doing is similar to what Chris Paul's doing. Like we said, Chris Paul was a superstar, right? Chris Paul was the ultimate general, and that what made him the superstar. He made guys better. He's won games. That's what made him a superstar, right? Like he wasn't the most athletic. He made big shots down the clutch. It's kind of walking in that same path of a guy that can move the ball, that can make better.
Hold on. Marcus, here's the deal, man. Do you realize that when you bring up CP3, you're talking about a top 6, top 7 point guard in history? Do you realize?
I do, but we haven't had any other CP3s.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about somebody that's been nicknamed a point guard, for crying out loud. Not a point guard, but a point guard, okay? All right, a floor general extraordinaire. Wherever he goes, you make your team better. I mean, of all the great point guards in NBA history, we're talking about this dude, top 6, top 7, arguably in the top 5. The Gary Paytons, the Isaiah Thomases, the Jason Kidds of the world, the Irvin Magic Johnsons, the John Stocktons of the world. People like that. That's what you're talking about. You're not talking about that with somebody like Haliburton. Certainly not yet. So I'm just saying to you, the brother can ball. The brother can ball, no doubt about it. But when you talk, let me answer the question about the superstar. How about you being the number 1 option?
I was just about to say.
And everybody in your face and game planning around you every day. And every day, for the most part, you answer the call.
Last 3 years.
How about that?
Last 3 years, Haliburton, besides this year when they was better and he came off the ball, last 3 years he's averaging 20 and 10. What is that? Last year he was in the Eastern Conference Finals. You said who? James Harden. So was James. But the numbers say it. The way his trajectory of his career is going is CP3-esque. Like if we're talking about if he stay on this same line and continue to get better, he's going to be in that same category as one of the best point guards that ever played a game because we don't that position is starting to be extinct. We don't really even have point guards right now. Like we don't have guys that can make the entire team better. We don't hear about no Aaron Naismith if it's not for Tyrese Haliburton. We don't hear about Nembhard if it's not for Tyrese Haliburton. Like he make the entire team go.
So when a brother pulling up from 25, that's because of Haliburton?
Yeah, one time. The confidence that he's in. It's the confidence he instills. You're talking about 1 or 2 possessions. This is the confidence that he instills in the players. You can't have that system if there's no Tyrese Haliburton. There's no Indiana Pacers getting to the semifinals back-to-back years without a guy that's playing like he plays. He makes the entire team go. He makes the entire team go.
Perk, you give the final word, and then we and the commercial break need to all get on the same page of what the definition of a superstar is.
I got you on this, but let me ask you this. So we just got on Anthony Edwards. okay, for not being aggressive. And Anthony Edwards he's labeled a shooting guard, but Anthony Edwards has been the primary ball handler for this Minnesota Timberwolves team this year. One could say he's actually been the point guard. So the growth in him has to be the decision maker, the same as a Tyrese Haliburton. But again, we don't hold Tyrese Haliburton to the same standards that we hold Anthony Edwards to. You know why? Because we look at Anthony Edwards as a superstar. That's why. So we're not going to sit up here and put him in the superstar frame.
Anthony Edwards is the face of the league. That's been his talk. Two different conversations. Anthony Edwards is arguably the best player in the league and the face of the NBA.
Tatum,
we've never said that about Haliburton. These two different positions. I said as a point guard that's growing in this league, the position that's starting to be extinct because there's not a lot of point guards no more. There's not a lot of point guards averaging.
What is Trae Young?
Trae Young is a good player. He's a good player. He's a good player in this league. He's a really good player.
All right.
What
To
did he
be
have?
continued.
He was shooting 3-point. He wasn't a point guard. He just started passing the ball. He was shooting 40 point. He was shooting 40 points.
Marcus, I know you ain't ignoring Molly.
Work with me.
Marcus, I know you ain't ignoring Molly.
Thank you,
Molly's
Stephen
sitting right next to you. You ignoring Molly. What's wrong with you, man?
I love